have a good relationship now. We talk almost every day. We can communicate and be happy, and we love each other and the whole nine yards. On my mom's side, I'm really close to my grandmother. I call her almost every day. I'm in love with her. We always share recipes and we cook together over the FaceTime. Like back in the day, I remember they used to argue a lot because my mom is a very controlling individual. She feels that there's one way to do things, and that's just not how other people work. Obviously, you're gonna have a different perspective. You're a different human. So I think eventually she understood, especially as we got older as kids, that no, people don't have to listen to you. People are grown as heck and can choose for themselves what's right for them. My grandma is just all love and all support, and I think it's really important to honestly let people have their own path and choose their own things and their own mistakes, and just be supportive regardless of how it turns out. She will state her opinion, but at the end of the day, it's always been more so like follow your heart and do what you think is necessary, and we'll be here to help you up if something goes wrong. The one thing I do appreciate about my mom is like I've been able to be direct with people with her hard love. Like we're very like we can say whatever we want to people and feel no type of way about it, because that's kind of what was said to us, and we kind of had to live with it. And it was like, ooh, did we hurt your feelings? Like, get over it. Feelings get hurt. And so I appreciate that, because honestly, I'm very passive, and so sometimes it's hard to say the hard things. And I think that's probably the best characteristics I got from her, being able to say the hard things to people, because sometimes they're necessary. And it's important not to just be a supportive person. If you see someone doing some fucked up shit, you're just like, go ahead. See, go ahead. Like, I understand both aspects of it. Oh, my grandma as a parent was different than she is as a grandma. I've heard stories. And plus, back in the day, it was very normal to beat your children. I've heard stories of him chasing around my uncle with like a 4x4 wood plank. And I'm like, not my grandma, like never in life. But she was like, no, I beat that ass. I got beat too. My mom didn't beat me as much as my dad, but it was definitely a you better act right or I'm gonna go get your dad type scenario. She was more of like a thrower. If I could change anything, it would be the beating. It's not necessary. The beating and the fact that most kids aren't allowed to talk back to their parent, even though it's literally just a conversation, but they call it talking back because it's not in agreement with what they said. But that's not talking back. It's literally having your own mind and your own opinion, and it doesn't have to be in line with your parents. Sometimes you're freaking wrong, and sometimes it needs to be said, and I got popped for it every single time, and it's fine. I took that popping. But yeah, that would be some things that I would change. Just being more open to conversation. It's important. It creates really bad dynamics if you feel like you can't say what's on your mind. For my grandma, definitely self-care. She is very in shape. She takes care of herself. She makes sure that she's presentable. She's very much so into pampering herself. I think it's good to have that. I've gotten that from her, but I've also gotten from my mom just like the dynamic where you have to take care of everyone else and you let yourself go. You're trying to make sure someone else has what they need, and you're literally giving parts of yourself that you shouldn't be to make someone else happy. I've gotten both of those things, and it teeters back and forth between me caring more about myself and me caring more about other people. The environment that you bring them up in your own home is still going to be different than the environment that they're being schooled in outside. I don't know. I would say transparency. I think that's very important. I don't think I had that as a kid. Knowing what was going on and why there's rules, why there's reasons you have certain restrictions at a certain age, because you don't know better and you don't know what the world is like. Transparency is the most important thing in parenting, because regardless, they can feel it. I don't know how, but kids know when they're being told something that's not true. The second you hit Loki 10 nowadays, you start to understand kind of what's going around you, especially nowadays. Everyone is so woke. And teaching your kids about all sorts of things. One of these moms, her kid is 6. She was masturbating in class, and she just didn't think anything was wrong with it. She had no idea, and her mom was just like, that's for your private time. She's like, it's fine, but that's not for others. And it's just, why? Well, because those are private parts. At a very young age, they're doing it. But when you're a kid, like, it's harmless and it's fun. But I think there needs to be some level of transparency in any aspect of a kid's life, whether it's your diet, nutrition. Every aspect needs to be touched upon, because they're learning either from you or from someone else.